What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Knowles and Dogs podcast. I believe this is episode 10. Could be wrong, could be right. I don't know.
We're getting at that point.
We're getting to that point. It's a little late, but we're recording because we like you guys.
Yeah.
First and foremost, before we get going, let's hit that subscribe button, guys. Okay? We got to 30. We got to 30. Nicely done.
We're moving up.
I mean, look at this. Thanks to you guys, we upgraded. We got the mic. We're back to the OG headphones, though, until we get some better ones down the road. Anyway, hope you guys had a great Christmas. Dylan, did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, I had a fantastic Christmas. How about you, Hunter?
I had a good one. My
Nice,
Steelers
nice.
won Christmas Eve, led me into the Christmas Day. So, couldn't ask for a better.
My Buccaneers
was a
squeaked out one. Yeah.
Before we get too off topic, that was a crap show game. You can't struggle against Trace McSorley. We love Trace McSorley because he throws it on a dime like he ain't even trying. But you can't do that, bud. We gotta be better.
If the Buccaneers beat Sam Darnold this Sunday, they're going to the postseason.
That's so disgustingly bad. The fact that it comes down to you have to beat the Panthers. The Steelers should just replace all of you guys. The fact that we went 4-0 against you guys.
Oh, shut it.
Shut it. Nope. Hold the L. Hold the L. Hold the L. As the Steelers and Dogs. This is why, folks, if you're ever wondering, so I'm a Steelers fan. Big Georgia fan as well, obviously. This is why I have Georgia, because on Saturdays we win. Sundays, you never know. I have no expectations ever going into games. If I lose, we win. I play for fantasy football. That's why. By the way, I was in 10 leagues in fantasy. In the title game in 4 of them. Thank you.
See, I couldn't even enjoy fantasy this year. The Bucs made me that miserable, but,
In our league, actually, our fantasy league, Hunter is looking to go as back-to-back champion. So, looking to run it back. So, there's that. And then I'm playing in a buddy of mine's family league. On the first year, they just needed an extra player. Hopped in, $20 buy-in. Absolutely steamrolled everybody in the finals right now. And probably going to dominate. So, yeah, you love to see it. You love to see it.
Oh, you love to see it.
You do. All right, yeah, so like we said, hit that subscribe button because it really means a lot. We love to see you guys hitting that subscribe button. Helps us out. But maybe, so we got that down. Obviously, we want to always continue to improve on that. Let's get some more of the views up, guys. I mean, we're a little lackluster in the last couple ones. Let's get the views up, because we love the subscribes and the liking. We love it. But let's make sure we're reviewing the content, too. Seeing what we got to show. Because, especially coming down the stretch here, but we still got playoff talk we're doing tonight. We still got national championship. We got all the other stuff down the road. Make sure you're watching the videos because they're fun. We're trying to make them as up-tempo as possible.
Yeah.
But, subscribe, watch the videos, do what you guys want to, but just, remember, it takes half a second.
Yep,
You know
it
me.
only takes
I'm going to make it short one day,
seconds.
just half a second.
It's that quick. Just please subscribe.
Yeah. All right, so let's get the show on the road. Excuse me 1 second. Happy juice.
Oh, yeah.
Ha! No. Anyway, so we left off. Since we weren't able to record last night like we were going to, we weren't able to record tonight's football games. Recap last couple games, just some headliners from today. Duke, Mike Elko, shout out to him. First year after he was the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M last year, I believe.
Yep.
Goes to Duke first year. Dominates UCF. Who UCF at the time, them and FSU were competing as the top record teams in the Florida. Take it how you will. Still, UCF solid team with the runner-ups in the AAC. But yeah, Duke just dominated start to finish. I was watching that game a little bit during the day. And then Arkansas and Kansas. What a game that was! I had Kansas. Fortunately, I had them on the money line. Did not hit there because Arkansas was up 31-13 at half. Yeah, this game was over. 25-point game. And then going into the fourth, it's a 15-point game. 3 minutes to go, still 50. It's 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. I was at dinner, watching the game on TV at the restaurant, and I watch. Kansas has the ball. It's like 4th and 6 on Arkansas' side. They don't get it, and I'm like, all right, fine. The game's over. We leave. I'm getting home, and all of a sudden someone says like, "Hey, Kansas down 2." I'm like, "What do you mean they're down 2?" I'm like, "What the heck just happened?" I race inside. They're going for the 2-point conversion to tie. I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" They get it. I see what happened. There was a fumble. They get the ball back. They score. Onside kick, of course. They get it. Score again. Lidson. Unfortunately, as great as our offense was playing, defense couldn't hold in the overtime. They went to 3 overtimes. KJ Jefferson and company hold on. The last play of the game. I know you didn't see it.
Nope, I
so
didn't.
Jalen Daniels threw for 544 yards, had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Last play of the game, they run some trick play with Bean, their backup. I forget his first name. Because at this point, it's a 2-point conversion off, so you have to make it's pretty much PKs. They run a silly, stupid trick play, and instead of either running it in because he had a clear opening, it would have been closer because there was a player right there, but probably would have had a better shot. He had a guy wide open coming across. If he would have just stopped and just tossed it over, he would have easy. Instead, he just, for some reason, just tosses it out of bounds into the stands. I'm like, what are we doing? So, I don't know if he just thought like it wasn't a 2-point conversion off or something, but yeah, so that's how they lost. North Carolina and Oregon. Oregon came in as a big favorite. North Carolina was up by 6 late. Oregon comes all the way back with a big-time drive by Bo Nix, who really didn't play that well, but he did what he needed to do tonight, and then it took a double doink off the field goal post with 19 seconds left to take the lead for Oregon on the extra point. And they survived North Carolina. North Carolina, though, did cover, so that was nice. And now, right now, Ole Miss and Texas Tech are playing. Texas Tech is beating the doors off of Ole Miss at the moment. It is 32-13, 10.5 to play as of this moment. Texas Tech has dominated. Ole Miss has hurt themselves with turnovers and going for it on 4th down with like really backed up in their own part of the field. I don't know why. That's just Lane Kiffin.
That's just his style.
Yeah, I mean, going for it from your own 11-yard line, that's a little ballsy. I mean, I get it, but I mean,
and then unique style of coaching where he likes to injure himself early, right?
Yeah,
he likes to give himself a handicap on purpose for absolutely no reason, but to make him feel more like I can't run from the grind.
Yep, and then but then the next drive they didn't do anything. They set up the field goal unit or the punt unit. It's a fake punt, and they don't get it. So, and it sucks because their defense. I mean, I would be so pissed sometimes if I was as a defender there. I mean, it's like you're almost guaranteed you're always going to be backed up half the time. So that's why your defensive stats suck because you're allowing teams to start at the Ole Miss 25 every freaking play, every drive. So it's like, what are we doing, guys? So, trying to think of some notable.
Other team gets the ball your own 11 to start a drive. Like you can't even. What are you defending?
Exactly. You can't do anything about it. Some notable games from yesterday. December 28th. The Guarantee Rate Bowl, Wisconsin. Which way I didn't know they beat Oklahoma State last night. They held on. Oklahoma State made a late push. I didn't know Luke Fickell coached that game.
Yeah, he coached the game because the interim coach. Something happened where he wasn't going to be added to the permanent staff, so he just kind of quit. So Luke Fickell had to come in and coach the game. It was some weird mess, but he won. So
he won, so he's got his first win, I guess, as Wisconsin coach. It's kind of like a Marcus Freeman situation last year.
Well, the only difference there would be is Marcus Freeman got to DC the whole team the whole year, right? Like he was the defensive coordinator; those were his guys. Luke Fickell they were just pretty much told him a couple days ago, like, "Hey, you're coach of the game.
Hey, you signed up for this. Let's go."
Yep.
The only thing is also another difference. Marcus Freeman blew a 28-point lead in the Fiesta Bowl last year.
That's true. To Oregon, right?
No, Oklahoma State. So.
Oklahoma State, you're right. Yep.
So there was that game. Trying to think what else. Who else played? Buffalo beat Georgia Southern.
Yep. In action.
Um, who else played? Did Bowling Green played Monday, December 26th. We have that written down.
Yeah.
Oh, East Carolina played. They dominated Coastal.
Carolina.
They dominated Memphis. Absolutely blew the brakes off of. We had that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's where we are.
Tennessee State beat San Diego State.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into our bowl pick'em, we will we'll just start it up right now. So the pretty much game plan today is we're going to go through our bowl pick'em, or do you want to? And then we're going to do college football playoff preview.
Yeah.
Do you want to do preview talk first or second?
Second, so we can give ourselves get everything else out of the way, so we can really dive deep on those.
Perfect. So we're back we got the paper. Mm-hmm. It's a little I'm trying to think of the word. Unorthodox because we just don't have some of the games written down. Yeah. But like tonight's games, but it is what it is. We're sorry.
Busy people. We got lives going on outside of this, but we're trying our best to keep everything. Try to get everything done for you guys. So
I guess we can roll right through. We can. We'll get the updates rolling here. Actually, while I'm counting this, you want to start. We'll start with the start previewing Thursday, December 29th games. Yep. I'll let Dylan start those because his team's playing then tomorrow. So I'm going to get these scores updated as of this point, add the new ones, and then we'll get rolling. So don't do any picks yet. Just kind of maybe start talking about your team a little bit.
So, all right. So I'll get straight into it. So Oklahoma versus Florida State in the Cheez-It Bowl, everybody's favorite bowl, obviously. Florida State's going in at 9-3.
Yeah,
I believe so.
9-4.
Or 9-3.
9-4, 9-3.
Let me double check that before. Now I can't find the game.
Hate to see it.
Oh, because it's at the top because it just updated.
Oh.
9-3. Florida State's 9-3. Oklahoma is 6-6. Oklahoma has a ton of players who have opted out for this game, including, I believe, 4 or 5 guys on their defense and 2 of their wide receivers. Dylan Gabriel is playing for Oklahoma, but he hasn't been the most spectacular this season. So Florida State does not have anybody sitting at this game, though. So I hate to be a real hard homer here, but in almost every single way, this really does look like a Florida State win and a big Florida State win.
Yeah. What's the spread at right now on that?
9.5.
So it moved. It was at 7 when it opened, I remember.
I'll say, because it's on... Who's this through? Yeah. Yeah, Florida State, 9.5. Over under 65, though.
That's a big one. So
that's kind of high.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in, you know what I mean? It's like it's in Orlando, but it's gonna be like 95% Florida State fans. I mean, I don't want to make the pick yet, but I'm probably gonna take Florida State, and I'm gonna take Florida State to cover. They're gonna put the. I'm going to take the points from Florida State. I think they win by more than 9, more than 10. I think they could easily win by 2 touchdowns in this game.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about 7-5.
No, you're good. I know you were updating the.
Dude, I had a rough week this week. You are actually not looking. You're just kind of starting to pull away from this thing, dude.
Hey, I got lucky with a couple picks, I guess, but.
I'll tell you what. we'll go through them, but Bowling Green killed me.
Yeah.
Just the way the game ended was the rough part.
They played New Mexico State, right?
They did. It was just Bowling Green was down big, and then they called their way back. They cut it to 5, 6.5 to go. All they had to do was get another stop because their offense was rolling, and then they couldn't get the ball back. They never got the ball back. 6.5 to play.
That was the Christmas Eve game, wasn't it?
No, it was the Monday after.
Monday, okay.
Yeah, they never got the ball back. They gave up 3 third downs when it was 3rd and 8 or more.
Because I remember I was working, I was watching it.
It was disgusting to watch at the end. I was just sick to my stomach.
I just remember seeing the score, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I picked New Mexico State. Let's go.
Right?
No, it was... you know... I don't know. I feel like a lot of my picks are more just like... They were more just how I felt from the heart, you know what I mean? Like, right. I was like... Middle Tennessee, I was like, you know, I know a guy goes to school there, so let's go with that.
LOL, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I finally got a stolen right there. Oh, yeah.
Where are you at right now?
I'm finishing up on the scores here.
Nice.
I had Wisconsin, and then the over at 4 + 7's 1. Oh, I had the over, but Wisconsin, so I only got a little 1 point right there. Okay. So, at this moment, we got to Tuesday, December 27th games. We didn't do Wednesday's games. Dylan, we'll just kind of go through the scores here. Dylan at Alabama, South Alabama. Or we had the South Alabama game versus Western Kentucky. Yeah. They played, I have the scores up here.
Okay.
We both had South Alabama. They got absolutely just blown out of the water. I watched a little bit of that game before it got close. But you had the over, so you got a point there.
Yeah.
I had a -4, so it didn't hit. We each had Baylor to win money line against Air Force, except you had the under at 43.5, and that hit. So you got a point there. And then I had Air Force +4, so we each got half a point. Or we each got a point there. We each had Houston money line and Louisville Lafayette or Louisiana Lafayette plus the points, so that hit. You had Wake Forest and the points, and then the cover, so that hit. Missouri, I was at that game. It was kind of a cold and gross game.
Yeah.
Am I slow on your side?
Nope. No, you're good.
Okay, yeah, I think my internet's a little wacky right now.
I would say you slowed down for a second, but you're doing fine.
Just trying to see, because it's super slow on my end.
Say, because the audio is coming through fine. It's just the lips were a little bit like they weren't synced right.
Yeah, it did this the one other time. Sorry, guys. Oh, actually, it's a podcast, so I don't really care. Are we back? I think we're back.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. So we each had you had Wake Forest, I had Missouri. Oh, it's a little slow again. It's okay. New Mexico State, Bowling Green, like we just said. You had New Mexico State and the under, that both hit. I had Bowling Green, obviously it didn't hit. We each had Memphis and the points, they both covered. You had East Carolina money line, but Coastal to cover. I had East Carolina in the points, so I hit. You only had the one, and then you had Oklahoma State plus the points. I took Wisconsin, and then the over. Wisconsin part hit, the over didn't. So we stand right now. The points stand. Dylan is at money line wise. Let's see. So we count this up. 10, 13. 10. It's 20. You're at 25 points. I'm at 10. 17. I'm at 19 points. So Dylan is pulling away here a little bit. We're for a late pusher.
Yeah, well, we got a whole slate of games to round out bowl season with. We're all right.
exactly. 1 second. Turn my Wi-Fi on. Sorry, I'm just going to try to reconnect my Wi-Fi. All right, so we'll move in here to the as soon as my Wi-Fi connects, because it just always decides to act up at this point of the night. All right, so we are now at the Friday slate. This is when bowl season really starts to get good.
Yes, it does.
Or Thursday slate, excuse me. Where's Thursday? Here's Thursday. Okay, so the Thursday slate is Syracuse, Minnesota. It's the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. Nobody will be there. These baseball.
Maybe they will this year. There's Syracuse fans in New York.
These baseball stadiums though don't ever really carry anybody though. They don't ever attract anybody. Trying to see. Minnesota comes in as 11-point favorite. As a trying to see, 54% of the money's on Minnesota. There's really no stats. I like Minnesota a lot here in this spot. I think they have a better run team, better defense. Syracuse is kind of spiraling since that Clemson game.
Yeah.
So I'll take Minnesota and the points. I think they're going to dominate.
Yeah, I think you're right too. But I'm going to take Minnesota and I'm going to take the over.
Okay.
The over-under is 44, but I think if this game goes anything like it can go for Minnesota, they're going to put up 30-plus points to where anything Syracuse does will just tip it over.
True. All right. That's a good pick, actually. I do like that. Sorry, so we'll move on now. So Oklahoma's FSU, like you were saying. FSU comes rolling in. Oklahoma's just kind of crawling their way to the finish line up to this point. FSU, it's up to 9.5 at this point. Over under 65.5. FSU. I haven't really given my stats here. Trying to see. The unders hit more often than not last 5 games. Last 5 against or for Oklahoma. The overs hitting 3 has hit 3 out of the 5 last games for last 3 out of the last 5 games for FSU. The overs hit. FSU's covered 4 of their last 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Dylan, who you like in this one?
I like Florida State. It's, my truthful and biased pick on this one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Florida State in the points.
Okay.
I think they win by 14, to be honest. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
I like Florida State, too, and I'll take the points.
All right.
But I was thinking the under at 65.5.
I was thinking that at first, too. But if Oklahoma copies the game plan that Florida ran at all, I think it might end up being like Florida State 40. You know what I mean? Like 40 to 30. It could end up being like that.
I don't know if it's going to be that much, but I just don't see Oklahoma putting up that many points. I think
they did put up 48 against Tech.
Yeah, but FSU is a better D.
That's true.
You say there's no dropouts. I think they're just going to run up the score here.
I think they will too.
I think it's just like this might be like a 38 to 20 game. I think, honestly. I think it has to look Vikings to that, but the under hits in that one. But
yeah, I could see that. I could really see that.
All right, we'll move on here.
Last game of Thursday night.
Last game of the Thursday night slate is Texas and Washington in the Alamo Bowl. Texas is a 3-point favorite to this point. The over-under is at 67.5, and 73% of the money right now is on the spread of Washington. Dylan, who you like?
I like Washington.
Okay.
I think Michael Penix Jr. is good enough to carry this Washington team past Texas, even though it's a very talented Texas team. And I would probably go with the under.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if you looked at it, but 67.5, that's really high. That's a really high.
Like tonight's Oregon UNC game was, I think, 71.5.
Yeah, it's
and that under hit.
Yeah,
clearly.
Well, I think people just think too low some of these defenses. So I think go Washington in the under.
I'll take Washington in the 3. I think 3. You're giving me a field goal with Michael Penix. I'll take that all day. But the only thing that concerns me is the run D. The run D has been a little iffy at times. So if Bijan Robinson can maybe get going early, because I know he's playing in this game, we'll see. But Washington's defense as a whole, he has. But Washington's defense as a whole has been a little iffy. So if Quinn Ewers can go in, but he's been up and down. So I like typically the Pac-12 teams. These Pac-12 teams it's almost like every other year in this game. So like last year it was the Big 12's team. So like this year I think it's in the year before I think it was the Pac-12 team that showed up. So I think I'll take Washington. You're giving me the field goal. I'll take that.
Yeah. Only thing I'll say is that Texas is going to have a massive home crowd advantage in this one, just because Alamo Bowl is, I think, like a 5-hour drive from Austin, and the state of Texas as a whole is a very Longhorn state in general. But I really don't think it's going to factor.
No. All right. So we'll move on now to the Friday
slate.
Maryland and NC State. Friday noon Eastern on ESPN. I forget what bowl it is. I can see here.
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Duke's Mayo Bowl. So it's in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. Excuse me. Maryland's is a +1 right now, so NC State is a -1. Over under is 46.5. I'll take Maryland and give me them. Maryland and I'll take the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. I think this would have been closer if they didn't lose Devin Leary a couple months ago now. If
they're not the same team without him, and now he's gone. So,
and Maryland offensively is really good with not Tua, but Talia.
As long as he doesn't turn the ball over.
Exactly, which is a problem in that family as a general.
Right.
But I like Maryland too. 1 point. I mean, it's more or less a coin flip at that point. But I think Maryland really is just a better team.
So, all right, well, looking at Texas Tech is driving right now again. They're up 35-19. 5 minutes ago.
That was over.
And never mind, they just scored a touchdown because Ole Miss can't tackle. Never mind, the guy just fumbled in the end zone. Hold on, let's see what happens here.
Did he break the plane, though?
He might have. Or they're going to rule it a touchback, and it's going to be Ole Miss ball.
Now, that would be funny.
Let's see. Folks, we are in an interruption. What a play, dude, by the way. Oh, dude, that is going to be a fumble. Holy cow, Ole Miss just caught a break. They're going to get the ball back.
No.
By the way, that touchback rule is kind of stupid anyway.
I saw that it was a couple years ago that Deshaun Watson interception was against Georgia Tech. We threw an interception, and the guy caught it in the end zone, ran out, and they got pushed back in. So Clemson got 2 points. It was like it was like they got a safety out of.
Nice.
Oh.
Anyway, all right, we'll move on. Next game is the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl on CBS. Pitt and UCLA. UCLA is a 5.5 point favorite right now, And the over-under is 53.5. Dylan, who you like?
I like UCLA
Okay.
primarily because if they have, well, DTR is playing in the game. DTR is, even though with some of his faults, he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the country, especially this season. So I want to take them, and it's at 5.5. So I'm actually going to take Pitt to cover.
5.5. Okay.
Yeah, I think it ends up being like a field goal game.
I just looking here at some stuff. What's the over/under at here? 53.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take UCLA. Or I'm just thinking about the under, just because I
I was
don't
in
know
that
how
too.
productive Pitt's offense is.
The backup looked good.
He
The
did.
kid who started, the starting for the game, the backup looked good though. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I took them to be able to cover was because when they played, I think it was it Miami? I think they played
Yeah.
Miami. He balled out, and it was like, oh well. Obviously, everybody balled out on Miami this year, but he still
hmm
looked good. Like he looked good. So I have confidence, especially since UCLA's defense is not very good.
Excuse me, my dog just starts barking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take UCLA in the points though. So,
fair
all right,
enough.
all right, and then we got Notre Dame versus South Carolina. This is the I forget which bowl this is. It's the it's the Gator Bowl. So who you like? South Carolina's a 2.5 point dog right now. At this point, is 51.5 is the over under.
I like South
Oh,
Carolina.
you like South Carolina?
I'm just yeah, I'm gonna say I've with the way Spencer Rattler has played out the rest of the season, I've been really impressed by them. I've been impressed with the way they've moved the offense around to fit his like. What's good about Spencer Rattler? The offense has in the past last 3-4 games of the season has really focused in on making their offense around that, and the fact that Notre Dame at times does not have an offense at all. Like they
Yeah.
physically cannot score the ball at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take South Carolina, and I'll take the under.
It's the over under at
I think it's
51
like
and a half.
54, 51.
Yeah. I'll take. So you have the under at
Mm-hmm.
51.5.
Yeah.
I'll take South Carolina too. I like how they're playing. I just think Notre Dame doesn't have much offense at this point. They're not getting Sam Hartman right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was breaking news. Yeah, Sam Hartman's going to be transferring to Notre Dame. So that'll be a nice addition, but that's for next year. So this is this year. Yeah, I like South Carolina. I'll take the 2.5 too. If I'm going to take them, I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on. Kind of go rapid fire here because we've got some caves here. Actually, we're kind of closing in here. Ohio and Wyoming, and I know that's the Barstool Arizona Bowl. I'll start. I like Ohio in this game. If you can hear my dog's footsteps, I'm sorry. It's Big Max.
We're all good. Well, we
Big
are
Max,
all good.
English Bulldog, representing the Bulldog Nation. All of my dogs out there, stand up. Anyway, Ohio is a 1.5 point favorite. Over under is 41.5. I like the Ohio Bobcats, and I like them 1.5. I'll take that.
I'm gonna take the Wyoming Cowboys. I'm
Our
a
first
Wyoming fan.
disagreement.
Yeah, if you can't see right there, I'll pull it out for you real quick. Hold up.
Wow, look at that.
So I'm representing Cowboy Nation. I'm gonna take Wyoming, and you said it's 1 point,
1.5.
1.5. I'll take Wyoming in the points. I'll take that.
Sounds good. So you like them plus 1.5. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. So now we will move on, and this is actually cool. So this is the last of the Friday slate, but it's our first New Year's Six game. This is the Orange Bowl, and this was what a game. I mean, Tennessee at Clemson. The biggest storylines of this game: the quarterbacks. You have both of the original starters this year are both out. One leaving via transfer portal, the other one via injury at torn ACL, Hendon Hooker. But now you have Joe Milton, who was the original starter last year, got hurt. Hooker came in, played well enough to keep the job, but Milton has the big arm. And then you have Kate Klubnik, who's the freshman, the hot shot freshman, who would come in a couple times this year after Uyalele stunk and played well. He came in the ACC title game and kind of saved them. Because at the moment, it was kind of just a slow, boring game, and then Klubnik came in and just turned on the afterburners. So that's honestly the biggest point. Right now it's 5.5. Clemson's a favorite. The over/under is set at 63.5. I'll get my reasoning here. I like Tennessee plus 5.5. I like Tennessee to win this game. But actually, I'll change my pick, plus 5.5. I'll take the over at 63.5, though. My reasoning is I think Clemson's defense really, every time they've been able, if a decent offense has been put up against Clemson's team this year, they really have been struggling. Mm-hmm. If you have a decent quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to be able to put up some points. And Tennessee has that. They still have their weapons. I know Cedric Tillman, I believe, is still playing. Hyatt's not, but you still have Tillman. You have, forget the other guy. He's the other receiver. But really, other than that, I don't believe there's really any other big time names being they're opting out. And Clemson's with Klubnik, and they've been able to put points up. And Tennessee's secondary is still dog shit. Excuse me for my language. They're really bad still.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
They're not going to change anything. Points are going to be at a premium, and how can you not have points in? The all-time Orange Bowl here.
Yeah.
So I'll take Tennessee to win, but I'll also take the over at 63.5.
So I'm going to be a hardcore contrarian pretty much to what you're saying. I'm going to go Clemson. I'm going to take Clemson and the points, simply for the fact that there's been times where Clemson's looked bad, but primarily those have been in games in which DJ was quarterbacking and the offense could get starting, therefore put more pressure on the defense to make stops.
Mm-hmm.
But if we look at like the North Carolina game, and North Carolina I think without everybody agrees, North Carolina had a great offense, and they were without injury in that game against Clemson. They crushed North Carolina's offense. North Carolina's offense couldn't do anything on them.
Go ahead. Finish up.
So I'm gonna take the Clemson. I think they win this game pretty convincingly, and I also just don't trust Joe Milton. I mean, it's a second school. He couldn't get anything at Michigan. He got beat out as the starter at Tennessee. I just don't think he's that great of a quarterback, and I think he'll get benched halfway through next season for that freshman they have coming in.
So I will say, I will counter that. So the North Carolina game, Klubnik came in. Mac Brown said after the game that they did not prepare for Klubnik at all. Mm-hmm. Like, he openly said, like, we did not even look at his stuff. We knew that he had come in a couple times, but they thought that he said, this is kind of like paraphrasing, but we thought, like, hey, we thought Uyunglele they would use him in the run game more. They would just kind of figure out a way. He thought they were going to run the ball more, considering that North Carolina's run D is not very good.
Yeah.
But they threw it a lot more, and so that kind of led to them a little more just nothing going on. And that's when they made the switch, and then Klubnik came in and just tore them apart. But at games like Wake Forest, the Wake Forest game, the South Carolina game,
mm-hmm.
They played Notre Dame this year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They played Notre Dame this year. They're not. It's not like their defense is obviously not like Superman. Like they have some weaknesses in that D. I can pull up the stats here for this game. Like, offensively, Tennessee ranks at the top of everything, third in passing yards in the country. Defensively, Clemson's up there. But as far as passing goes, they're ranked 76th in the country. They're ranked 9th in rushing. Tennessee's ranked 19th. Tennessee's ranked 2nd in the country in yards per play. Clemson's 23rd defensively. Offensively, though, red zone efficiency, these are two of the top 5 teams, so you're going to get points here. But I think Tennessee just has too many weapons. That's the thing also. Clemson doesn't have like a true weapon.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think just Tennessee's more creative offensively. That I think they're going to be able to keep up and score some points late. But this is going to be a back and forth game. So I think they're going to be able to keep up regardless, and I think they'll just kind of pull away here late and win this game. So we'll move on. Unless you had any final thoughts about it. We'll move on here.
No, I don't really.
So we'll move on to Saturday's game. This is the big Saturday. So this is... Actually, you want to just touch up the non-playoff games first, and then we'll just circle back?
We'll leave the playoff games for the end.
So we'll just do the 2 games other than the playoff games. So there's 2 other games Saturday besides the playoffs. You have noon kickoff out of the Sugar Bowl, another New Year's Six game. Alabama and Kansas State, 6.5 is the spread right now. It was down to originally it was down to about 3, and that's only because at the time Bryce Young and Will Anderson, or Bryce Young primarily, had made no comment. Everybody kind of just assumed that hey, he's not going to play.
Yeah.
And then I think 2 weeks ago, Anderson and Bryce Young both announced they would be playing in the game. So the line sprouted back up to 6.5. Still would not underestimate Kansas State. They kept Max Duggan and that offense in check for the most part. It really took Max Duggan's legs to beat them, or to even keep it close. I mean, they ran the ball effectively. Alabama's defense, good but not great. I mean, good but not great. They ranked 62nd in rushing defense this year, 55th in passing. Kansas State's 30th in the country in rushing yards, and 23rd in the country in passing yards. Forget the quarterback's name. 1 second.
Howard?
Yeah, Will Howard. Ever since he came in, he has just kind of assumed he has assumed the commands of this offense, and he's taken it, elevated it. And so I think this is going to be a close game. Over-under's 56. I think if 56 hits. Actually, if you could buy points, I wish you would. You could. I think Bama wins with the news now. Originally, I thought Kansas State was going to win. That's why I have a 3.5 bet right now, Kansas State, because but I think Bama wins now. But I do think I'll take Bama and the under at 56 because I think Kansas State's going to be able to run the ball a little bit more than people think. I think they're going to be able to effectively run the ball a little bit more, where they're going to kill some clock. Whether or not they're able to capitalize in the red zone, that's going to be the big story. If they get to the red zone, are they able to get into the end zone? And is Will Howard, because this Bama secondary is not very good, but they will turn you over. So, can Will Howard limit the mistakes? Because we know Bryce Young's going to have his day. So that's really it. I think Bama wins, but I think the under hits at 56.
Okay. I want to take Bama, and I'm going to take Bama in the points. It's 6.5, so it's more or less a touchdown.
Yeah, it's
and I think
just
Bama
under
wins
a touchdown.
by 7. I think Bama wins by 7. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you were betting on this game, I would potentially look at handicapping it and buying some points here, if you could.
Yeah.
Because that 6.5 is a little scary. Because do you trust Kansas State to keep it under a touchdown? I doubt it. But we'll see. Especially if you're looking for if you're looking for Bama, obviously you're getting under that. You're getting under just that touchdown. You take that all day. But yeah, so we'll move on to might potentially be one of the more boring games, Iowa and Kentucky. So don't blame me if you don't want to watch it, because God forbid. Oh my goodness, this is the what game is this?
The Music City Bowl.
Oh, it's the Music City Bowl. It's at Nashville.
Yep.
Iowa's a 2.5-point favorite. Over under is at a whopping 31. So I'll start. I will take Kentucky think Will Levis is playing. Is he not?
Uh, Let me double
Look that up
check
for me.
for it. Yeah.
If he's playing, I'll take. I have no idea what to think of this game. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I might just be at home, just brand biased here, and take Kentucky. I mean, I'll take Kentucky, I guess.
He's opting out.
Okay,
Will Levis is
but
opting out. Let me see.
but again, that doesn't mean I'm not scared of Spencer Petras. So I'll
Not
take
either.
Kentucky, and I'll take the over at 31. No, check that because God forbid I don't know how bad both these offenses are. I'll take Kentucky plus 2.5. But I can't make myself come to under 31 because that means it's going to be. I would have to make it like a 17-7 game, and so I can't do that.
So
I'll take Kentucky plus 2.5.
I don't believe Petras is playing either.
Well, because God forbid he makes a difference.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to take Iowa.
Okay.
I'm going to take Iowa, and I'm going to take the under.
Oh man, you poor soul.
Yeah. Only because I think this game comes down to like 13-10, man. Like I'm not expecting much action. This is I guess if you love defense, this is the game to turn to.
I guess. So we'll move on. We'll skip the playoff games for now. We'll circle
Yeah.
back. We'll head to Monday's action, January 2nd, in Raymond James Stadium, the Relic West Bowl, Mississippi State and Illinois.
Yep.
Mississippi State comes in at right now as the line has shifted a bunch, but it's -1. Mississippi State. This is Mississippi State's first game since the passing of Mike Leach. I think Mississippi State comes out and dominates and plays for him, plays for the coach. The only notable opt-outs I know is Ra Thomas because he just recently committed to Georgia. By the way, big news there. Dominic Lovick and Ra Thomas, two of the top SEC wide receivers in the portal, both committed to Georgia. We just keep on loading. By the way, I didn't know I have a coworker. We have a coworker. His name's Ethan. He's friends with Damon Wilson.
Really?
5-star Damon Wilson. Yeah, he was supposed to go on. He claims he was supposed to go on his official tour to Georgia with him, but he had something that popped up, so he couldn't. He said he didn't like Ohio State. He chose Georgia over Ohio State primarily because the campus at Ohio State sucked.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong about that, so maybe he's onto something. Yeah.
So, inside source right here.
In other news, the sky is blue.
In other news, if you guys want inside sources, we got it here. Knowles and Dogs podcast.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button. Anyway, over under is 48. So I'll take Mississippi State -1. I mean, I'll hammer the Pirates, or I'll hammer the Bulldogs, and I mean they're playing at the Pirate Ship, so they might drop it on Illinois because we've seen this year if Illinois, as good as they have been defensively, every time when they play a decent offense, they just can't keep up for some reason. And if their defense can't bail them out, they're just really stuck in a pickle. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Even though Mississippi State has struggled sometimes getting things going against good defenses, their run D is really good. And that's what's going to stink for Illinois because I don't think they're going to limit Chase Brown enough to where they're not really going to be able to do anything. And I don't really trust, I forget his name, the quarterback for Illinois. I don't really trust him a whole lot over. I'll take Will Rogers.
DeVito?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito. So I'll take Will Rogers any day. Mm-hmm. So I'll take Mississippi State -1.
So I'm going to take Mississippi State also, but I'm going to take the over at 46, just because I think. Well, here's the thing: Mississippi State has a great offense, but like every Leach coach team, they don't have the greatest defense, and at times. Illinois has been able to actually get the ball moving offensively because DeVito wasn't a terrible quarterback. Just in general, he's not that bad. He has a decent arm. So I do think 46 just kind of low for a Leach team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the over.
All right, so we'll move on to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. This is Tulane and USC. The line has stayed stable at 2.5 at the moment. Tulane is a 2.5-point underdog. Mm-hmm. Over-under is set at 62.5. I believe Caleb Williams is not playing.
Yeah, I don't think
Jordan
he's
Addison's
playing.
not playing.
Yeah, Addison's not playing.
I
Travis
don't think
Dye's not playing. Caleb Williams not playing. So all three of their
he
statistical
is
leaders and
confirmed.
levels are not playing.
Caleb Williams is not playing. Correct? Did you
I
confirm that?
I haven't heard anything saying he is playing. I'll double check for you right now, but
Because that'll make or break this.
yeah.
I like the over under is set at 62.5. I like Tulane to cover.
No updates.
No updates.
He said he wants to play.
If he plays, I would take USC
Yeah, me too.
and the
If he doesn't
over
play,
is
no.
60. I'll take the over at 62.5 regardless. As far as money line pick go, just a pick 'em pick goes. Oh, jeez. This is so bad of me. I'll take Tulane. Screw it. Why not? Why not? Take Tulane and the over. Why? I don't know. They won. They were the winners of the AAC. This is their Super Bowl. USC's defense sucks still, and they have some drop. They have a bunch of dropouts on offense or injuries. Give me Tulane.
Just so we could be different on this pick, I'm going to take USC because if Caleb Williams does play, USC's to win, and I'll take USC in the points. It's 2.5-point spread, so I mean,
10 more. Yeah, you're getting that. It's just under the field goal.
yeah.
I think it's a high scoring game though, because again, Tulane's offense is really good, and they are able to put up points. And USC's defense, last time I checked, still sucks. So
Yeah, so
I still can't get out that Pac-12 championship performance I saw was so diabolically disgusting that I can't get out of my
out
head.
of nowhere, out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Okay, we'll move on. 2 more games here before we get to our preview of the playoff.
Yep.
LSU, Purdue, we'll go rapid fire here. Bunch of opt-outs. Keishawn Butte is now come back out and said today that he's going to opt out of the bowl game and he's going to go to declare for the draft after he originally said he was going to play and stay for another year. Why? I don't know. Anyway, a lot of I know,
We know.
An inside source. I know a source that said that a lot of Purdue. I mean, we know it's news too, but yeah, a lot of Purdue guys are not playing. Quarterbacks not playing. Top receivers not playing. A bunch of guys are missing or opting out. I will take the under at 56 and Purdue plus 14.5. No, excuse me. I'll take LSU to win and the under at 56. That's what I was going to say.
Well, I'm gonna take LSU to win, but I'm gonna take Purdue to cover, just because 14.5 is a big point spread, man.
Yeah.
Even with that, because LSU's gonna be down a couple guys like Butte, some guys in their defense, and no offense, but Jaden, the reason Butte is going into the draft is because he does not want to play with Jaden Daniels another year. So,
But I mean, if Garrett Newsom or their backup Garrett, I'm just going to call him Garrett. If Garrett has a good game, do you think that leads questions in that offseason because of who starts next year?
I think you have to let him.
Is this going to be like a situation where it's going to be like a the Michigan's quarterback where like they play him a little bit each start of the year and then they kind of make a decision?
No, only because I feel like Brian Kelly is the kind of guy who likes to stick to his decisions.
Yeah.
I remember his time at Notre Dame, he is the kind of guy who is going to just straight up be like, this guy's better.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be starting going forward. And even if the guy looks bad at times, he'll stick with his decision.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to make the prediction now that coming out of like summer workouts, Nussmeier will get the starting job going into the Florida State game.
All right. All right, moving on to the final game before the preview, or a quick preview. It's really more just I'll pick them, but we'll do a little in-depth preview. Penn State, Utah is the Rose Bowl game. It's going to be a good game. 2.5, I believe, is the spread. I will confirm it. Yep, 2.5. Utah is a cover. Is the Utah's is a 2.5 point favorite. Over under is 52.5. I really like Utah here at -2.5. I think they're rolling right now, and they want to finish what they couldn't do last year, which was win the Rose Bowl. They blew that game last year. They had it. They let Ohio State back in it, and then they just fooled around and couldn't get it going at the end. But yeah, I'll take Utah -2.5. I mean, you're giving me under the field goal mark. I think Penn State just doesn't have enough weapons on offense, and I think Utah is good enough to kind of just ground and pound, and then Cam Rising make some plays with Dalton Kincaid and win this thing in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I'm also going to give Utah 2, as long as they don't have running backs playing corner again. But
right? Oh, I remember that. And I felt that he was exhausted. He was covered in Smith and Jigba the entire game, too.
It was like, what are they doing?
Him and Marvin Harrison were just teeing off on them. Yeah.
I just heard people freaking out about that stat line button in Jigba. It's like, you gotta add the asterisk. He was covered by
dude's
like
playing
a third
two
string
positions.
running back. It's like,
right?
But I'm also gonna take Utah, but I'm gonna take the over on the points at 52.5, just because Utah averages 40 points a game on offense.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So Penn State averages 35. So, and neither do the defensives. Well, they've been good. They haven't been like.
I think Utah though has played better competition this year, where they're going to be better suited. I mean, Penn State really hasn't played a whole lot like competition wise. Pac-12's been better than the better conference this year.
Yeah, in the Big Ten, the two good teams Penn State played, they got killed by. But
they should have beaten Ohio State. They let that one slip away.
Mm-hmm.
That game, the score does not indicate how close the game that was. They had a catastrophic. Oh, that one was just a total beatdown. But the Ohio State was a catastrophic meltdown at the end of the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we got all the bowl games except for the two.
The two most important.
Two most important ones. College football playoff games. This is like our preview / pick'em. We'll start as it is in order, so we'll revert back to Saturday. This game will happen right after the Sugar Bowl. TCU and Michigan. This is the 2 versus 3 matchup. Mm-hmm. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl. It's on ESPN at 4 o'clock. Plus 7.5 is the spread. Michigan's getting 7.5 point favorite. Over under is at 58.5. I will let you make your picks and give us some reasoning about the keys, like the overall key to the game and why you think that team or whatever is going to happen.
Okay. So
you can start.
I'm going to just say it outright. I do think Michigan wins this game.
Okay.
I do think TCU is going to cover because 7.5 is a way too big of a point spread.
By the way, just it dropped. It was 9.5.
Yeah.
And it dropped.
It's just ridiculous. But I'm not a Vegas odds maker. I'm not a rich man like them, so who am I to say? But I think the biggest key to the game is going to be Michigan's defense, because the defense is going to be so much better than anything TCU has played this year at all. Like, not even close. Because I think when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of their schedule, the best defenses they played this year were Texas and Kansas State. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those were the best two defensive units they've played this year. And in the grand scheme of college football, those defenses were good. They were not Michigan good. They were not the kind of defense that shuts down the best offense in college football in Ohio State. That can turn the ball over, that won't let you run the ball, that won't let you pass the ball. So I think as long as Michigan can keep a consistent running game, they're going to win this game outright. But I do think it comes. I do think the game is going to come down to J.J. McCarthy at the end of the game. They're going to give the keys to him at the end of the game. They're going to be like, we need 3. We need 3 points at the end of the game. Get us 3 points. I think Michigan wins.
Yeah, I think. So here's why I think about this game all the time.
Yeah.
For some reason, this game has been on my mind, and it doesn't get a whole lot of talk by the national media as much as the other game.
For some weirdest reason too.
Well, because it's not as the biggest game. It's not as big as a game as Georgia Ohio State, but this game just is such a toss-up game as far as just point spread, team-wise, because you got two teams coming in who are both second-half teams. So let's remember this. Michigan likes to put you away. They kind of are efficient. They toy with you. You're like a fish. Your opponent is the fish, and they're like the fisherman. They're just hanging with the little worm in the water, just letting you hang around. And then as soon as the second half hits, they'll feel the bite and go. I mean, they will run, ground and pound you until you pretty much can't stop the run anymore. And then they'll continue to run the ball. Or TCU likes to they like the second halves where they just come alive for some reason. I don't know why. They just do. But two biggest questions in this game were I still haven't seen enough from Michigan where I can trust J.J. McCarthy. I just can't. I just haven't seen enough. And the Ohio State game was awesome. They also ran for almost 300 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. So there was that. They had. I mean, the first half was awesome because you want to say because he had all the big explosive plays, but I mean those guys were wide open. I mean there were just total breakdowns in the secondary. They were wide open. I mean you got to be able to make those throws. So he hit those plays. But as far as TCU goes, I am worried about them stopping the run consistently. They were able to keep Bijan Robinson in check as far as Texas goes. Bijan Robinson's the best running back in the country. Mm-hmm. So we've seen them keep the opponents in check, but then you just see Deuce Vaughn just run all over them twice before. I think Michigan wins. I think it's a close game. I think it's a high-scoring game. I mean, I'll take the over at 58.5. I think this is a closer game than people think because we always have at least one. I feel like we never get a close game anymore.
Well, okay.
I would be cautious.
One close game. We always get one close game in the playoffs.
Not really.
Well, because
when was the last time we had a close game? All right, we'll go through it. So last year, both teams won by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Year before, which was 2020, Ohio State beat Clemson by more than 2 touchdowns. Both Bama and Ohio State cruised. 2019, LSU blew Oklahoma before the game started out of the water. And then
Clemson won by 3, though.
That was the last close game. That was Ohio State. That was the 6-point game. So that was the last game. That was 2019. And then even before that, 2018. I mean, nothing really. Really, the last close games have been.
Well, 2018 we had.
2018 was
Alabama versus. Don't remember really.
Alabama took on.
So Ohio State?
No. Ohio State didn't make it that year. Because it was Bama and Clemson again. And because Clemson beat Notre Dame. And Alabama beat... Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
I don't remember who they beat.
So... Alabama beat Oklahoma 45-34.
That game was. Don't let that score indicate you.
That
game. If you watch the game, Kyler Murray was playing catch up that entire game. That's why he had for 800 yards passing because they were throwing the ball. This is exactly what happened the SEC title game. Don't let those stats indicate what happened.
And Clemson
I watched that game.
Clemson beat Notre Dame 30-3.
Yeah. And then 2017. So really, realistically, we've had 2 close games because they had the Rose Bowl back in 17 of Oklahoma and Georgia. So really, realistically, you've had 2 close games in the past 5 years of this. So really, that's why but I'm worried. So we feel like we have a close game on the way, and I think it's just going to be a close game. I'm too scared to bet spread on this one. But if I had to pick a team, I'd take Michigan, but I would take the over at 58.5. I mean, this has the making of a 35-31 game.
I was thinking it was going to be closer, personally. I was thinking like a 35-28.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking maybe even lower, like a 28 to 27. Like, something close, but not too high scoring. Just because I don't know with those defenses and those offenses. But well, I
Because
guess
you're
we'll
getting
see.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're getting the north of the touchdown with Michigan,
Hmm.
but it's like that's a little scary because what if they keep it close the entire game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So because you have to win by 8 then at that point. So yeah, so we got that one. Any final thoughts before we move on to the other one?
No, I just
Okay.
that game makes me nervous.
It does, and I'm not even a fan of either one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think so. We're now to the Georgia Ohio State game.
Hmm.
This is the Peach Bowl,
Yep.
8 o'clock New Year's Eve, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia's 6.5 point favorite right now. The over/under is 62.5. But we were talking about close games. I think Georgia is going to dominate,
Me too.
and I'm not
I
even
think
biased.
I think this is
This
a bad
is
mismatch for Ohio State.
this is the blowout game, and
Yeah.
it may not be a super blowout, but this is like the double
No,
digit.
this is like a
This might be.
24-7 kind of game. You know what I mean? Like this is like the kind of game where like
I
Ohio
don't think
State
it's
comes
that.
out completely flat. Like they just like look confused at what Georgia's throwing at them.
So I think this is a game where I kind of don't agree with that. I think Ohio State comes out juiced, but Georgia matches it, and then Georgia's able to kind of. I was watching a video. I think Georgia's able to kind of just take. I don't know, just match it and say like, okay, take your best shot, and then we'll just kind of counter it. Like I was watching a video a little bit earlier today about how the game's going to start. Will Georgia just come out and just kind of control the pace of the game, control the tempo, right? How they usually do, or are they going to kind of sleepwalk it in, kind of like how they've done too? Because if they sleepwalk it, Ohio State's going to come out and take advantage of it. But if Georgia's able to kind of set the tone like they have been against LSU, against Auburn, against Florida, against I'm trying to think who else, Mississippi State. Like I mean, if they're able to do that, I think you're playing right into their own game because I think they're physically going to outman them.
Yeah.
I do think this is a close game going into halftime, maybe a little bit into the third. This has the feel of like a Tennessee, Michigan, Mississippi State game for us, where it's close at half, but we kind of just pull away late. Biggest questions, obviously, are always the secondary for us. It always scares the death out of me, leaving Keely Ringo and Kamari Lassiter on an island with, you got Chris Smith and Malachi Starks on the back end, but it's really going to be, are they able to get pressure home? Are they able to get home on C.J. Stroud, create enough chaos where he doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket? Because you cannot make this a Bryce Young SEC title game situation last year where they were not able to get pressure on him.
Yeah.
They couldn't get pressure on him, and they got torched. Because let's stop. I mean, I'm not. And I do get nervous about this game because, I mean, it's not like Ohio State doesn't have weapons. You still have Marvin Harrison. You still have Emmanuel Abuka. You still have Myron Williams. Although Williams apparently has a questionable leg injury. Apparently, though, he should play. He's still probable to play. You still have their tight end. I forget his name, but he's a big physical tight end. Like, they still have guys. So I'm not going to, sugarcoat this. And you still have C.J. Stroud, who's a Heisman Finalist, back-to-back Heisman Finalist quarterback. But I just think physically, this game's going to be won or lost in the trenches, and I will take Georgia all day, both sides of the ball. Because this is going to get to a spot, and Ohio State cannot get to a spot like this, where if we go into half, let's just say halftime, it's like a 20 to 10 game. Say 20-10. We get ball start second half, or maybe we get a stop, and Georgia's able to start running the football. or if they say they've already been running it, and they just keep running it, and they have no answer, they're just going to do that the entire rest of the game. I don't know if you ever watched the Georgia game this year, but that's all we do. We literally will not throw the ball the entire second half. We don't need to.
Quarters, yeah.
Entire quarters at length.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC title game, the opening drive of the third quarter, we ran the ball all the way down to the LSU 25 and then fumbled it. Like, we were going to score. Like, we will run the ball. We got 4 different backs. It doesn't matter. You got to prepare for all of them. And then if we feel like we got to pass it, we're getting A.D. Mitchell back healthy. You got Darnell Washington. You got Brock Bowers. You got Ladd McConkey, who's apparently been practicing, should be good to go. You still have Dylan Bell. You still got Rosemary Jackson. Marcus Rosemary Jackson. You got Kyrus Jackson. Like, you still got Stetson Bennett. And it's Bennett, I think, experience, being in the big game where Ohio State has struggled and Georgia has thrived in, is going to be the difference maker. And that's why I think Georgia's going to win. I'm going to cover the 6.5. And I think final score, I'm going to go, I think I said like a 34 to, because we usually don't blow teams out like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 34-20.
Okay.
34-20 is my score.
What else? I'm just going to add to this game because I think I'm going to stand by my first stance, the 24-7 score, just because I think it's going to come down to this. Because if you look at C.J. Stroud's numbers, specifically him, whenever he gets pressure on him, he does not run the ball at all. He
doesn't. No, he doesn't. He seems like a mobile quarterback that doesn't use his legs.
No, he does. He has 1.5. He averages 1.5 yards on an attempt.
And Bennett uses his legs.
Yeah. So if you can put pressure, which Georgia has the guys to do, on C.J. Stroud, their offense is done. Like, they can't. If C.J. Stroud can get the ball out, then you're like, okay, well, you're relying on the running game, and then if you're relying on the running game, then it's just, that's not Ohio State. That's not how Ohio State is. That's not how they work. He's not Justin Fields. You know what I mean? He can't make plays with his legs. He is very much a, what's the right word for him? He's almost like a Peyton Manning kind of. He is a statue in the pocket, but even
he's
with Manning,
more of
he's a little bit.
Drew Brees-esque, I think. Just as far as like Russ, as far as using his legs.
I would even go there because at least with Brees, he had movement in the pocket. I would almost compare him to like an early career Brady, where you will watch C.J. Stroud at times. He will take the ball in out of shotgun, right, and he will not take a single step. He will stand in place, look around, see nobody, and throw the ball away. That's the way he plays, which is fine. But like against Georgia, if they can put pressure on him, they're going to be going through 3 and outs, moving nowhere.
Yeah,
and Ryan Day's not a good head coach. Hot take.
No, he's Butch Jones, the Big Ten, by the way. So a couple other things. Georgia has played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium twice.
Mm-hmm.
They've only allowed 33 points.
Yeah.
Is a total. They've scored, I think I saw the stat. What is it? I mean, we just do the basic math here. I mean, 99-33. They've outscored their opponent at Mercedes-Benz Stadium this year. You're going to have the home crowd. Although Ohio State fans travel well, you're still going to have the home crowd.
Mm-hmm. It should be like 60-40.
It'll be like a 60-40 game. That's going to be Stetson Bennett's legs are going to be key, how they usually are. And then the fact that we're getting Marvin Jones Jr. back, who's a freshman, but he's a stud. He got banged up a little bit in the SEC title game, or in the Georgia Tech game. Might have been one of the other two. But he's been practicing. So you're going to have those guys. And, yeah, like we've said, like, watch the Notre Dame game. I mean, they were able to corral the pocket, create chaos, and he did not do anything.
I mean,
watch the Michigan game.
Look at the Penn State game. If any game in which, well, at the end,
Ohio State's defense, honestly, has been struggling as of late too. You gave up 31 to Maryland. You gave up 45 to Michigan. Trying to think of some others. I think that's really it. But like, those are the two notable. I mean, those are down the stretch games. But the problem is the other games they've just beat up on teams because they're better than them.
Yeah.
I mean, this has the shape, and I've talked to Ohio State fans this week, last week, up till this game. Like, they kind of see it similar, where it's just going to be like they are worried that if they get bullied in the trenches, this is going to get out of hand. Now, for Georgia, they just got to limit the explosive plays. Because Ohio State's going to probably come out swinging. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a trick play or two early in the start of this game. They're going to try to do something to create some sort of momentum on their side.
Fake punt to start the
fake punt
on the first drive.
Flea flicker. You're going to see something. Mark it down here. Just as they can, it's almost Georgia's almost got to. Both teams almost have to like weather the early storm in some way for their own team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, but again, this is all just going to lead to how this game starts is really going to dictate how this game ends, because I feel like you can, if Georgia's up by, and don't look at the stats of the LSU game. Yeah. You want to look at the stats as an Ohio State fan and say, oh, they threw for 500. You want to give us a 35-7 lead too going into halftime? Be my guest. I will take that all day. I'll give you 500 yards passing. I'll drop a 50 burger again on you. Be my guest.
That does not help Ohio State by looking at the numbers, because if you look at the numbers, they give up 300 rushing yards to Michigan.
Yeah, you want to look at the Kentucky game we had 16-6. Okay, it was like in the 20s that game, and the wind was blowing about 18 miles an hour. You want to talk about that? Okay, Kentucky is a solid defense too. They always play us tough. Okay, 16-6. Okay, we had our shots in the goal line. We did, but you're not going to get that every time. There's a big game has happened this year. We've showed up, showed out. That's why I don't really see it anyway this way. So
no, I agree with you. I just think it's a mismatch. That's
this is the playoff.
Yep.
I think we both agree this is the playoff blowout.
It's the biggest problem the college football playoff has had the entire time it's been around. Is while it gives more teams the opportunity to compete for a national championship, it also creates the most outlandishly overmatched matchups you will ever see that mean something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they did this last year in the Michigan game. They overhyped it. I know they're overhyping it. Yep. Because they want to get views.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're doing so is going to downplay how bad this game's going to be. I'm telling you, the TCU Michigan game is going to be the game of the day.
Yep.
They're lucky they're putting this game in the nightcap, because though actually I would have shocked they should have switched them, because this is going to disappoint some people, I think.
No, I think they did it. They did it on purpose, so people.
Well, of course, because it's the two.
Turn it off, switch to New Year's.
It's the blue blood. It's the battle of the Titans right now, as far as like college football brands go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be like a 34-20 game. I think. We're just gonna be able to control the game, and usually in the second half we have a decent lead. We run the ball, make the throws that we need to, but we just. As long as, and turnovers are going to be a big thing. If we fumble to start fucking around and fumble the ball, pardon my language again, then we're in deep shit. Again, pardon my language. Because that can't happen. And it's been an issue all year. As long as we don't do that, and give them, it's just exactly what happened in Tennessee. If you don't give them extra chances, we'll be fine. And luckily, we fumbled on the first drive, and they only held them to 3. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah.
Okay.
This has the shaping of a blowout, and I think it is. Like I said, 34-20. You think it's 24-7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you think you have Georgia in the points too? Is that what your final decision is?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So we both have UGA minus 6.5. Perfect. All right. Any final thoughts here before we wrap the show up?
No, I'm just excited for this weekend. I hope everybody has a great New Year. Be responsible on New Year's, please.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Dangerous night, so.
Oh yeah.
Please
stay
look
away.
out for yourself, everybody.
Wish me luck, as I will be watching the game, at a house full of Florida Gator fans. So
tough.
Florida fans in shambles.
I was gonna say they can't really say much. They got a pity field goal against Oregon State.
That was despicably bad.
The most embarrassing thing in the history.
That's rock bottom as a. collegiate athletic team.
Especially
Don't
since
even.
Their fans were like cheering it. They're like, let's
Cheering.
go.
Don't even get me started on that.
We weren't shut
I think
out.
we talked about that last episode.
Yeah.
That was despicably bad. And I let Florida fans know, you can't do that. I don't care what kind of streak it is. You go for the end zone.
That's not even like
Billy. Billy.
It's like, oh my
I
god.
got the mic now, Billy. You see this? This is big time. Yeah. Billy. Anyway. Yeah, so hopefully both our teams win this weekend.
Yeah.
I think they will convincingly. But
yeah, I think so too.
yeah, so make sure you do like and subscribe. I tweeted out tonight to, got the pod dropping tomorrow. I'm going to get it ready. We'll post it in the morning. Yeah, guys, enjoy the New Year's. Stay safe out there.
Yep.
Let's go Knowles, go Dogs. And
Go Dogs.
let's have ourselves a football Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Right.
finish the year strong. We'll be back next week as we kind of recap
Probably Tuesday again because it'll be
Tuesday?
right after everything. Yeah, because all the final games are on Monday.
Yeah.
So like Tuesday,
we'll,
Wednesday-ish, we'll be back.
Yeah. So we'll let you guys know. I'll drop it on Twitter. Follow us on social media. Put the links. The links will be in the bio. But yeah, we'll be recapping everything next episode, and then getting ready to turn our attention to the national title game. So,
Yep.
Alrighty, we will catch you guys later. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, please, guys. Spread the word. We really appreciate it if you do. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
All right. See you guys.